Previously on Fear the Walking Dead.
Wow, after all this time, Fear the Walking Dead finally had a good episode. What a sick joke.
What kind of sick joke is this?
The person that walks out of the vehicle is Charlie. Charlie goes out there. Unfortunately, Troy catches her very, very quickly. We unfortunately see the death of Charlie in this episode. Now, I say unfortunately pretty loosely because I was not big on her character for a long time. It's actually really good writing.
Just stop! No! Get away from me! I'm not gonna get it from them. I'm not gonna get it from you!
You know, Dove, I feel your pain because you just ruined one of my favorite episodes.
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for Fear the Walking Dead, and in today's video we're going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of the final season. This one is for episode 9, titled Sanctuary.
Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for Fear the Walking Dead, and in today's video we're going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of the final season. This one is for episode 9 of Fear the Walking Dead Season 8. This one's titled Sanctuary. So, this is definitely the biggest episode we've been waiting for, at least I've been waiting for this final half. Ever since we knew that Dwight and Sherry were going to be going back to the Sanctuary in the promos and some of the promotional material, I was very excited because obviously I love the Saviors, I love Dwight and Sherry, and I love, just everything pretty much involving those characters, right? So I was kind of assuming, I was like, okay, this is probably going to be my favorite episode of Season 8B, at least, right? And shockingly, that's actually not the case. I actually found myself enjoying episode 8 a little bit more. I think this episode, to be honest, is like really, really good. It is in a lot of areas. Although I think there are a lot of problems that drag the rating down at the same time. So it's a very, very conflicting episode for me. I mostly like it. I mostly enjoy it, but I think there's a lot of things that kind of bog it down. So we'll discuss that. But anyway, so we start off with Dwight. He goes back to his old house, obviously, after leaving Sherry and breaking up with her in the mid-season finale. He goes back to the old house. We see the old photo of him and Sherry and stuff. And he runs into a guy named Jay, right? Who, Jay is diabetic, and Dwight kind of helps him out. And apparently there's these bad people that are roaming the area, right? And Dwight doesn't necessarily trust him, but he follows him anyway. So they go to the old sanctuary, and I must say the overall design of the sanctuary, I think, was really cool. I think there are a few issues, like, in terms of, like, where the front part of the sanctuary is, which we did see, like Dwight and this guy, Jay, they were in front of the sanctuary at the very, big entrance, right? And they were in front of a car. And there were a whole bunch of other buildings around them, which canonically in The Walking Dead is not what the sanctuary looked like. So some of the set design, I think, like on the inside looked a lot better. But some of the stuff on the outside, I was like, wait, there's no buildings outside of the front, part of the sanctuary. Like that was an open yard with zombies and stuff like that. So I'm not sure. They kind of messed with some of it. Some of it didn't look fully accurate. I must admit, it kind of took me out of it. But it looked pretty good. You know what I mean? It looked pretty good. And then basically they go inside. You've got Dwight that gets caught by one of the guys, and Dwight discovers the furnace again, which I thought was really cool. And we got Dwight, basically, he takes the one guy that points a gun towards him, and he chucks him inside of the furnace, right? And I like it because they show the clip of Negan burning the doctor in The Walking Dead, and Dwight savagely just friggin' chucks this guy inside of the furnace. So I thought that was really good. Dwight was absolutely amazing. I mean, pretty much throughout this whole episode, Dwight was amazing. But, he chucked him in there, and now Dwight is the guy chucking somebody inside the furnace. I like that. I think that was really good. And we did get some archive footage of Negan, of course, during that scene. Which I thought was good. And then, of course, you also get the scene where Dwight goes back to the house and then unfortunately finds this Jay guy dead. So this Jay guy does die pretty early on in the episode, and Dwight puts him down, right? So I thought that was pretty crazy. And then Dwight kind of has a mental breakdown, right? And he's kind of sitting there crying. And he's like, Daryl, you should have killed me. Daryl, like, why don't you just come and kill me already? You know what I mean? Which I thought was a really powerful line, because Dwight just feels like he has nothing left, And he feels like he deserves nothing but death. and he's asking, like, Daryl, like, please kill me, you know what I mean? And you actually get some archive footage of Daryl. So what that scene tells me is one thing and one thing only: we've got to get a Dwight and Daryl scene again. I don't care if Daryl's in France. We got to get Dwight and Daryl back in a scene. I got to see that, man. That'd be so good. And well, basically then Sherry, June, and Dove show up, right? Or Odessa, whatever the frig you want to call her. And, well, basically, you've got Sherry and you've got June that are kind of helping Dwight out. June is still having problems because she's missing that one finger, so she's getting Sherry to patch him up and, stitch him up and everything like that. And basically, they explain that Troy Otto is like this new enemy for Madison, and he's attacking Padre, and we need your help. And Dwight's like, yeah, that sounds like Madison's fight to me, which I'm like, yes, thank you, seriously. Like, why is Madison dragging everybody down with her? Like, it's ridiculous, but... Anyway, so yeah, Dwight doesn't really want to join. He doesn't really want any part of it. And, well, then you get into a major flaw of the episode for me, okay? And I'm just going to get this out of the way. Okay. So the next morning, they wake up, and Dwight and Sherry are like, where's Dove? Where is she? And June's like, I don't know. I don't know where she is. And then she walkies, and then we hear, June, And then you've got friggin' Odessa that friggin' walks out of this vehicle. She stole their truck overnight, for crying out loud. And we end up finding out later on in the episode that she stole their truck just for her to drive away and do some random crap. Like, apparently she wanted to get away because she's not happy with the leadership of Padre or some crap like that. Like, it's so friggin' stupid, man. Like, she's like, I'm not happy with the leadership of Padre. I'm not happy with how things are being led here. So, like, because of that, I'm gonna take off because that's just what I need to do. So here she comes driving back in like, hey, I stole your truck. Oh, I'm injured. Please help me. Like, frig you, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, come on, what are you doing? Like, seriously, you steal their truck overnight. First of all, how'd they not hear her take off? Second off, why was she leaving? Just because she doesn't like the leadership of Padre? Well, then, if you don't like the leadership of Padre, why did you bring your ass all the way out into the sanctuary location to help June out if you didn't care a little bit? Like, it's so friggin' stupid. And she gets injured, and then the rest of the episode is all about trying to help her and help her injury. She's got a bullet stuck in her side. And then you get these guys that have taken over the sanctuary, right? And they're coming after Dwight and Sherry. In particular, Dwight, because he burned one of his guys. Now, these are just random bandits, guys. Like, they're just random-ass folks that apparently raided the sanctuary and are just living there now. There's only a few of them, but they're, like, coming after Dwight pretty much the whole episode. And now they're angry at Dwight because Dwight killed one of, their guys or whatever that held him at gunpoint, right? And anyway, they're angry about that. You get a few dialogue scenes, you get a bit of a standoff, bit of a shootout, which I thought was, pretty exciting. And, it was pretty good. You got Sherry that kind of sneaks attacks and shoots, right? And then you got Dwight, and then they get back and stuff. And they basically say, okay, we can get to the sanctuary, right now in 20 minutes. These guys on foot, it's going to take them like an hour to get there, right? So they've got like an hour's worth of time to patch up Dove or Odessa or whatever the hell you want to call her, and then get the hell out of there, right? So they go back to the sanctuary, they kill a few of the guys that are there, and like I said, some of the stuff in the sanctuary I do enjoy. I think there are some cool things in here, especially when they go inside of the infirmary, and you've got June that's inside of the infirmary of the sanctuary. Like, that is trippy. I love that. That is really cool, And you even get like a scene where Sherry looks at what looks to be some old pregnancy test that somebody left at one point that's actually positive, and it reminds her of in 703 of the main show when she took a pregnancy test for her and Negan, and it was negative, right? And she's kind of having some flashbacks about that. So I like that as well. I thought that was good. Dwight goes into his old room. We get some cool nostalgia. We get like the thing that Dwight wrote on the wall. I like it. I think it's good. I think for the most part it was well handled, and June is, going to be there to help out Dove, but they got to hurry up, basically. And Dwight's kind of angry, and he's like, I'm going to kill all these guys when they get here. I'm going to murder all these guys, and Sherry doesn't really want him to do that. And they kind of argue back and forth and stuff like that. And she's like, look, we need you to come back to Padre with us. And he's like, you don't need me. I'm not going to come back because I just ruin everything. You know what I mean? And that's what Dwight kind of looks at it as. Even if Finch died, like he says, like, I'm not going to let anything like that happen to some of the other Padre kids. So that's why he's not going back and stuff. And Sherry's like, no, that's why we need you. You trained the kids. You did all this stuff. You know what I mean? So it was pretty crazy. But they end up kind of fighting Dwight and Sherry a little bit. And anyway, she basically locks him inside of his room, which I found this to be really annoying as well too. You guys see what I'm saying? Like it's an enjoyable episode, but there's like little moments here and there where I'm like, okay, do you guys really got to do that? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's fine. It's a fine scene, but it's just like, why would you lock him up in there? Like, seriously, I know you don't want Dwight to get killed. I understand that. But, like, Dwight's a grown-ass man. If he's going to do something, he's going to do it, damn it. Like, you know, I find that ridiculous. But anyway, Sherry goes out there, and she battles a few of the walkers, and then, like, the fence drops, and she, like, gets stuck, right? And then June comes in there, helps out Dwight, and then, you know, Dwight goes in there and saves Sherry. So, I mean, you know, that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool scene, you know what I mean? But then, you know, you got Dwight and Sherry, they're, like, kind of fighting on the outside. June is trying to help Odessa or Dove or whatever you want to call her. And anyway, long story short, you've got Dove that has the brilliant idea in this episode to try to take out the bullet herself with a tiny little frickin', like, whatever the hell that thing was. And she's, like, sticking it inside, like, ah, you know? It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, seriously, writers? Like, are you trying to get us to like her? Like, she's so freaking annoying, man. And she's, like, sitting there like, oh, you know? Oh, my God, man. It's so freaking stupid. And anyway, basically, she doesn't manage to get it out. She's like, I can do it by myself. I would get the bullet out by myself, you know? And it's like this freaking obnoxious, like, acting. I don't know what they were telling her to do, but it was really, really pissing me off. And anyway, you get that scene. June's just kind of letting her do it, and she's like, you shouldn't do that, but like, okay, you know, it's like, whatever. And you get a few storylines, like in this one with June, where she talks about her daughter, which I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like, this is supposed to be a Dwight and Sherry episode. Like, why are there June and Dove in this episode? Like, I don't have anything against June. I think June's a cool character, but Dove sucks, man. She sucks. So, I don't know what they're trying to do with that. But anyway, that's, yeah, anyway, Dove is really bad. But anyway, in terms of this episode, in terms of the remainder and how it kind of ends, you've got the guys that kind of return to the scene, right? And they kind of attack the sanctuary. You've got Dwight and them that fight, right? And there is one scene I really like when Dwight, he goes up to the furnace and there's one of the zombies that he killed, right? It's the guy he killed earlier. And now he's zombified, right? He's beating on the furnace, right? Trying to get out. And Dwight ends up killing the leader of these bandits by throwing him in there and letting the walker eat him alive, right? So that was cool. Again, savage scene from Dwight. I liked it. I thought it was good. And then basically, the bandits are just dead. That's just it for them. They were just random villain groups just to be there, pretty much. And anyway, you've got these guys that are dead now, and the sanctuary kind of starts collapsing as it's so old, which is realistic for sure. I like that. And they basically stay inside of the furnace overnight, and they just let the place crumble, right? And then the next day, June has done the surgery on Dove, and now they're going to head back to Padre, pretty much. Dwight accepts. He's like, you know what? I'll go back with you guys. You know what I mean? You kind of get a nice heartfelt moment, and, you know, that's kind of it. Dwight decides he's going to go back with them. Him and Sherry seem to be okay now, so that's pretty cool. And they leave the sanctuary to go back to Padre, pretty much. I mean, that's literally how it ends. But then you get a stupidly just unrelated scene. I don't know why they didn't just cap the episode off there. It would have been so much better. But for some reason, they get the brilliant idea to stick in this 2-minute scene where you got Tracy that is found by Strand and the Padre guards. That is Troy's daughter, mind you. So Strand's just like, I'm going to help you, and you're going to help me. Save Padre. It's like, oh, okay. So I guess Strand is trying to do the right thing, but even though that's Troy's daughter, but okay. That scene just felt so disjointed. I don't know why they needed to put that in there. It just did not feel connected at all. It didn't really feel like it had a purpose, to be fully honest, but anyway, that's basically the episode in a nutshell. So in terms of my thoughts overall, to kind of just gather all my thoughts, I'm going to give this like a 7.5 out of 10. You know what I mean? I know that that's not the highest rating, but it's high enough, you know, because here's the thing. I like the Dwight stuff. I like the Sanctuary. I think some of the Sanctuary stuff is good. Some of the sets were a little bit like, okay, you can tell this isn't what it's supposed to be, but whatever. For the most part, they did a pretty good job. And I think overall, Dwight and Sherry, I mean, I love Dwight and Sherry. Like, I really do. I love their relationship. I love what they do with them. So, of course, I'm going to like something from it. June was not necessary, but I didn't hate her. You know what I mean? She just kind of didn't do much. And then Dove was awful. Awful. I'd say my two biggest problems with this episode is Dove, big time. And these bandits, I didn't care. Like, I'm like, it's just filler. Like, there is no outcome from this. Like, from these bandits. Like, there's nothing cool about it. Like, Dwight burns the guy, sure, but, like, there's no impact, you know what I mean? I think it would have been more realistic if Troy just chased them down, to be honest. And, like, you know, you had a fight with Troy in the sanctuary. Like, imagine how much better that would have been, you know? So, I don't know. This episode, it had some missed opportunities. It had some annoyances. It had some flaws here and there. But I'm going to give it a 7.5. You know what I mean? It wasn't as good as episode 8, but it was better than episode 7 for damn sure. It was pretty solid. It was a pretty solid episode, but not amazing for me. It was pretty good. There you go. So anyway, write your comments, comment section below. What'd you guys think of Sanctuary episode 9 of Fear the Walking Dead? Post your comments down below. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoy this video, make sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos for The Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos for The Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.